We all are made up of cells, the fundamental unit of life. Each cell has its own wisdom and intelligence. So, a story from Bal Krishna's life comes to my mind where he puts mud into his mouth. He was playing somewhere, and then Ma Yashoda comes and she tries to remove the mud. As soon she opens his mouth, she sees an entire universe into his mouth. So she astonishes, and so to see this, so this story connects with the concept of microcosm and macrocosm. So the question is, Guruji, how are both related to each other, and if you can also throw some light on Krishna consciousness.
Very meaningful question, Bhavana. As I explained to you earlier, this entire universe has got all the characteristics as regards its composition and as regards the structure and laws which govern it. The whole structure and the laws which govern this whole macrocosm, the entire universe, as we call it, the similar principles, the same laws, and the same structure applies to even its component parts, including even individuals. That is why the scientists of the inner had been saying yad yad brahmande tat tat pinde. An individual contains the whole universe in a miniature form in himself. It simply means that the whole ocean can be found in the drop. The ocean and drop relationship is the relationship of the individual to the entire universe. And even modern science has expressed, examined, experimented, and reached the conclusion that the contents of the drop of water are the same that of the ocean is. The whole big tree is contained into the small seed. Otherwise, the big tree could not have come out of that small seed. What it means that the features, structure, and the principles involved in the existence and nature of the microcosm happens to the same, which is there in the entire universe, the macrocosm. And this principle has become now quite established. And that is why I say separation is only an illusion. And the idea of oneness is the real truth. And what Ma Yashoda is telling about her experience when she happened to look into the mouth of Krishna is that the entire universe she found visible into his mouth. It simply means, through this metaphor, the poet or the sage who has presented this metaphor is trying to convey a message that Krishna as an individual could contain the whole universe within himself. And it is the same concept which has been voiced by the sages and seers when they said, Aham Brahmasmi Tattvamasi. And that was to vividly explain through the small story that Krishna had the oneness experience, the experience of oneness with the whole universe, and he became an embodiment of expressing the strength, energies, and all the dimensions of the energy of this universe. When you talk of Krishna consciousness in this regard, I have to tell you that Krishna consciousness has been misinterpreted and it has been taken by humanity on a very superficial level. Krishna consciousness means that humans has a possibility of becoming a Krishna. And becoming a Krishna means simply being capable of experiencing this state of unity or oneness with the energy of the existence. Your potential is infinite. Krishna is a symbol of infinite energy, infinite wisdom, and infinite joy. Krishna consciousness can be achieved. It means every individual has the potential, and Krishna consciousness should be the objective. Here I have to tell you that it is not by chanting some mantra or only by worshipping Krishna that you can experience and achieve Krishna consciousness. These are only superficial things. Not bad, quite good that these practices help you in moving ahead. But if you remain confined only to these small practices of chanting and worshipping and then sleeping and doing all the nonsense which you have been doing up till now, then nothing is going to happen and Krishna consciousness will be a distant cry. What we mean by achieving Krishna consciousness is cultivating the practices through which you can expand your inner energies, through which you can achieve infinite potential, and achieving that infinite potential will on its own bring out certain extraordinary characteristics in your being. And that is the first fundamental characteristic about Krishna is that he can manage to hold both the opposite polarities of life together. He is capable of living in all dimensions of life. He is an embodiment of love and compassion. At the same time, he is capable of throwing himself into a great war of Mahabharata. Krishna is a symbol for achieving infinite beauty of aloneness and inner joy. At the same time, he is capable of living his household responsibilities. He is capable of living and carrying out all the responsibilities as a householder. He is capable of carrying out all the responsibilities of a very violent politics. He can pass through all the phases of human life, pleasure and pain, happiness and sadness, success and failure in a state of equanimity without getting disturbed. He can pass through all the tremors of life in all its dimensions, in all its colors. And that gives a message that simply by singing songs of Krishna's praise, you cannot imbibe and be a living example of Krishna. Now, Krishna must be lived, not worshipped. And how Krishna can be lived? For his, he has offered his total message through the Gita. And the three fundamental devices through which he has expected the whole humanity to obtain Krishna consciousness. One is the science of total surrender to the existence. through the Krishna. Sarvadharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraj. So the first device is the device of total devotion and total surrender. Through cultivating a sense of total acceptance in life, that will lead you towards experiencing Krishna consciousness. Because once you are totally surrendered to the existence, you become in a state of oneness with the existence. The second powerful device is action alone is thy concern, nor its consequences. So while doing all the activities of life, if you can manage to focus all your energies into those activities with absolute involvement in those activities, with no energy going into the future towards the contemplation of the consequences, if you can put yourself wholly into the act, if you can be total in the act, then you can experience Krishna consciousness and all the joys of this life. And that is known as the yoga of action or the karma yoga. And the third device is jnana yoga, which means yoga of knowledge. Yoga of knowledge does not mean gathering knowledge and information of this word and that word, or everything about the self or soul, whatever it is. It is not gathering information about physical, material, or spiritual dimensions of life. He is not referring towards accumulation of any kind of knowledge, either the material knowledge or the spiritual knowledge. It is experiencing your soul. It is experiencing your being. It is about getting centered into your being that offers you the experience not only of your soul, but through experiencing the soul, you experience the whole universe. The experience of the drop becomes the experience of the ocean, and you experience infinite wisdom, you experience infinite joy, and you, in other words, experience Krishna consciousness. So these are the fundamental points which everybody must remember while thinking of Krishna, while worshipping of Krishna, while trying to gain wisdom and enlightenment through the path of Krishna as enunciated in Gita. Thank you.